Good evening and welcome to another exciting afternoon of Cleveland State Cougar Basketball. This is Brian Grissom live and in color from the Q, L. Quinton Lane Gymnasium on the campus of Cleveland State Community College. We have a single game this afternoon. The Wallace State Lions have made their way up from somewhere in the heart of Alabama to Cleveland for a men's contest. Women have already played Wallace State. Their schedules did not pan out, so the Lady Cougars have already played Wallace State. The Cougars back in November, as a matter of fact, around Thanksgiving, just after Thanksgiving, took it on the chin to Wallace State, 78-53 in the first game. So the Cougars will be looking for a little bit of revenge this afternoon on their home floor. And I did. Coach Pauly must not be here this afternoon because I wanted to talk to him about the floor. It's a beautiful new floor. We'll talk more about that as we go along. We're going to take a break right here and go to the national anthem here. All right, I always love to hear the national anthem, the many different renditions, and that one was a beautiful one. Thank you so much for joining the broadcast this afternoon, our first broadcast of 2023. My, how the time flies when you're having fun. The first half of the season is already over, and we are ready to head down the home stretch and get this is a non-region game this afternoon, but it'll be a good test for the Cougars as they try to get shake off the Christmas festivities and get back to work. Same way for this announcer, as he had a ball game last night over at Bradley High School, and now he's at Cleveland State this afternoon, and we're really looking forward to see the Cougars this afternoon. Let me get some starting lineups. First of all, for the Cougars, number 33 is Michael Johnson. Looks like 22 is Caleb Chapman. And number 3 is Kwan Banks. I'll get the others here in just a second. For Wallace State, Nathaniel Jones, Tadarius Williams, Jabari Smith, Phillip Hughes, and Jalen Curry to start the afternoon. For Wallace State, they come in with a record of 7-4 on the year. Cleveland State at 4-6 on the season. Number 1 is Jared Taylor starting for the Cougars, along with Caleb Chapman, Michael Johnson, and there is my 5th starter. I knew we'd have 5 out there somewhere. Mark Greer. So it's Banks, Chapman, Johnson, Taylor, and Greer for the Cougars. We are just about ready to tip it off. Wallace State in their blue and with white and orange trim. The Cougars in their home gray with light blue numerals. There's the tip. It goes to the Cougars, and we are underway from Cleveland State. Mark Greer set up the offense over to Chapman. Kwan Banks out to Taylor. Wallace State opening up in a 3-2 zone inside to Johnson. Shot no good. Tip no good. Rebound, Wallace State. Number 15, Phillip Hughes will bring it across the timeline for the Lions of Wallace State. Wallace State, Alabama. Over to number 10 is Smith. Back to Hughes. Inside to Williams. Williams drives the lane. Left-handed scoop shot will go, and he is fouled. Nice shot. Foul is called on Caleb Chapman. First foul of the ball game. Just getting started. Good crowd on hand. There's a couple of seats left over there on the left, I see, as if you're driving around. Don't look at me like that. Driving around with nothing to do. Come on by and see a good basketball game. Free throw is good by Smith. And it's 3-0. Wallace State. Cougars with the basketball. Here's a three-point shot. It's good. Caleb Chapman knocks one down for the Cougars, and just like that, it's 3 apiece. Wallace State gets theirs the old-fashioned way. Chapman gets it from downtown. Hughes will bring it across the timeline. Mark Greer all over him. Over to number 21, Jalen Curry. He gives it up to Williams. Williams to Hughes. Here goes a left-handed shot from the baseline. No good. Rebound fought for. That should be Cougar ball. It is. A lot of bodies hitting the floor over there. That was Nathaniel Jones with the left-handed shot there on the baseline. 3-3. We'll talk more about this floor. I'll find somebody with some information. It is beautiful. New floor for the Cougars as we start the new year. Out front to Greer. He's double teamed. Gets it off to Chapman. Chapman drives the lane, kicks it to the corner. Jared Taylor for three. No good. Rebound. Goes to Johnson. Here's the shot in the lane. No good. Rebound to the Lions. Cougars had their chances that time. Just couldn't get it to go down. Here's number 4 to Darius Williams with the basketball. Hughes thought about a shot, changed his mind, back to Williams. Williams, an off-balance shot. Did they bail him out or did he travel? Yep, traveling. Good defense that time by the Cougars. I didn't almost recognize Michael Johnson there as he of the new hairdo. And there's Chapman with a headband. I don't believe he wore a headband last year. I got to get back in the saddle here and know my Cougars. Banks over to Johnson, to Greer. Greer to Chapman. Wallace State still in that 2-3 zone. Inside goes Chapman, and they call him for a charge. That could have went either way, but he did lower his shoulder, so that's a good call. Of course, Coach Raphael Howard is disagreeing, as he should. Cougars with some full court pressure this time. Now they'll back it up just a little bit. Hughes with the basketball. He'll bring it across the timeline. Gives it up to Smith. Jabari Smith over to Williams. Back to Hughes. Inside. Turnaround jumper. Michael Johnson just a little too stout that time. He had it blocked. He didn't have to swat him like that, but he did. So that'll be the first foul on Michael Johnson. And that'll send Jalen Curry to the free throw line. My good buddy Gary Owen be down on the PA system down there. First free throw is good. Landon Jacobs will take in. Landon Jacobs will check in. Michael Johnson will take a break. Second free throw for Jalen Curry is good. So Curry knocks them both down. Here's the ball batted away. Greer runs it down, throws it batted again. Over to Landon Jacobs. He drives baseline, slips and falls, and a turnover Cougars. Number 1, Nathaniel Jones on the run. Here's a dive into the Cougar bench. And ball out of bounds off of Cleveland State. 16:33 to go. First half, Cougars trail 5-3. Here's Hughes out front. Gives it up to Jones. Jones to Smith. Three-pointer, no good. Rebound, Jared Taylor. Cougars on the run. Taylor takes it to the hole. He was 1 on 3. Oh, they call him for a charge. My goodness. That was a tough call on Jared that time as he took it to the hole 1 on 3 and made the bucket, but it will not count as he is called for the charge. Tony Sapp will check in for the Cougars for the first time today. Phillip Hughes will bring it across the timeline for the Lions. Gets it over to Curry. Back to number 5, Michael McIntosh, who has come into the game for Wallace State. Oh, there's an offensive foul the other direction. So, Jalen Curry with the offensive foul. Seems as though, here comes big number 35, Randez Eason, into the ball game for the Lions. Seems as though the offensive foul is the foul of the day so far. Taylor to Jacobs, to Banks, to Greer, back to Taylor. As the Cougars work it around, being patient. Here goes Banks to the hole. Can't get the roll. Ball rolled around all over the place, but couldn't fall through the net. Rebound goes to Wallace State. Headed toward the 15-minute mark of the first half. Just one game today is the men's contest. The ladies' game, they played theirs at an earlier date. Here's a drive, and a foul is going to be called, I believe, on Kewan Banks. Yeah, that's his first. So 4 different Cougars with a foul each here in the first half, as Jared Taylor will take a break. And let's see, I believe Damon Fan came in for him. He did. Here is number 35. Turnaround jumper is no good. That is Eason. Greer on the run for the Cougars. Over to Fan, back to Greer. Wallace State looks like they're very content to stay in this 3-2 zone until the Cougars hit a few shots. Here's the ball batted out of bounds. And I believe it was off of a Wallace State hand. Yeah, they get that one right. One referee couldn't see it, and the other one did. And Nicholas Ellis checks in for the first time for the Cougars. Number 5, Nicholas Ellis. Cougars will throw it in front of the Wallace State bench. Out front to Ellis. There's Fan. Three-pointer, no good. That was just a 2-pointer, as a matter of fact. Rebound, Wallace State. Hughes out front, looking for some help. Gives it up to number 5. That's McIntosh. McIntosh, spin move. Probably got away with the walk, and spin move puts it up and in. Michael McIntosh makes it a 7-3 Wallace State lead here in the early going. 14.5 minutes to play, first half. Cougars will set it up. Here's a long three-pointer. Number 21, Tony Sapp knocks it down. Three-pointer. That was a big shot. There's a foul on number 5, Ellis. So that's 5 different Cougars with a foul each. Number 20, Trey Chapman will check in. And I believe we have a timeout on the floor. Timeout on the floor. Cougars take a timeout. They want to talk things over. We'll take one with them. We'll be right back. All right, time back in. If I can get the right button punch. Cougars trail 7-6. Wallace State with the basketball. in their blue and orange and white trim uniforms. Here's number 10 back in the game, Jabari Smith. Ball almost thrown away to Jaleel Robinson, who has checked into the game for the Lions. 3 on the shot clock, got to get one off. Here's a shot at the buzzer, number 10, Smith. That was a great shot. 10-6, Wallace State on top of Cleveland State, as the Cougars played great defense right to the last second, and then Wallace State hit a shot. Tony Sapp inside, called for a traveling. That was good defense that time, as they got a hand on the ball, made him travel. Number 3, Christopher Blunt, checks in for Wallace State, as they've played 8 or 9 players already here in the early going. Robinson will bring it up the court. Ellis all over him. Number 3, Christopher Blunt, also in the game for Wallace State. Blunt gives it up to Smith. Smith tries to go in the lane. Can't get there. Here goes Robinson down the lane. Scoop shot is no good. Gets his own rebound. And shot no good. Rebound to Tony Sapp. The Cougars will go the other direction. Here goes Ellis down the lane like his hair's on fire. Shot is no good, but he is fouled by Jaleel Robinson. So that will send Nicholas Ellis to the free throw line. Cougars trail 10-6, 12:51 first half. Left-handed shooter, Zip. So he'll get another. Hope everybody had a good Christmas holiday. I know me and my family did. It's glad to get back into the swing now. Second free throw is good by Ellis. So he knocks them both down. 10-8, Cougars trail by 2. Wallace State with the basketball. Here goes Williams to the hole. Shot is no good. And foul is called on Trey Chapman. Trey Chapman, who has checked into the game for the Cougars, picks up his first foul. So that's 6 Cougars with a foul apiece. And number 10, Jabari Smith, to the free throw line. First free throw is good. Michael Johnson will check back in for the Cougars, as Landon Jacobs will take a break. 12:42 first half. Second free throw by Smith is good. So it's 12-8. Cougars trail by 4 with the basketball. Wallace State apply a little bit of pressure, then they back off. Cougars will set up the play. Out front is Tony Sapp. Over to Trey Chapman. Inside to Chapman. Michael Johnson, nope, they threw that one away. Chapman threw it away. Turnover Cougars. Here's a pass inside. Oh my goodness. The pump fake was on. And Damon Fan went airborne and flipped. I'm glad he's okay. That would have been ugly right there. As Damon picks up a hard foul. I mean, he flipped. As number 5, Michael McIntosh, put the pump fake on. And Chapman bit. Free throw, no good. Rebound, fought for, loose ball. Cougars will pick it up. Michael Johnson picks up the loose ball. Ellis over to Fan. Fan to Sapp. Back out front to Fan. Over in the corner, Tony Sapp for 3, a little short. Rebound to Wallace State. Lions on the run. Here's a three-pointer by Smith. It's good. Got to get somebody on Jabari Smith. He'll kill us from out there. That's 3 of them, 2 of them already from him. Inside is Chapman. Shot no good. Rebound goes to Williams for Wallace State. He drives the lane, throws up a wild shot, and he's called for a charge. That was Trey Chapman took the foul that time. And he earned every bit of that foul because it's tough to take a charge on somebody running 30 miles an hour. But he did it. So, ball will go over to the Cougars. Cougars trail 15-8 here in the early going. We're almost halfway through the first half here in the men's only contest. Just one ball game today. Cougars will hit the road Wednesday to Harriman, Tennessee, take on a couple of region games with Roan State, and there's a turnover to the Cougars. So the team's trading turnovers at the moment. So the next game for the Cougars will be this coming Wednesday, the 11th of January, at Roan State for a couple of key region games. And then we'll be right back here on January the 14th, a week from today, Saturday, as a matter of fact, as Dyersburg State will roll into Cleveland for a couple of games. Always good to see all the Dyersburg folks. And so we'll look forward to that game. That'll be our next broadcast. Here's a long three-pointer by Smith. No good. Ball goes out of bounds. Almost saved, but not quite. That's a good hustle by Jalen Curry for the Lions that time, trying to save that ball. Couple more lines coming in. Number 1 is Nathaniel Jones, and 15 is Phillip Hughes. As Robinson will take a break for Wallace State. Cougars trail 15-8 as we approach the 10-minute mark of the first half. Landon Jacobs back in for the Cougars. Inside to Johnson, back out front to Fan. No, that's Ellis with the shot. Rebound Cougars. There goes Kawan Banks to the hole, had it partially blocked. Mad scramble for the basketball, and it goes out of bounds off of the Cougars. Cougars just can't quite find their rhythm here in the first half of the ball game, but it's still anybody's game. Wallace State with the basketball and a 7-point lead, 15-8. Coach Alan Sharp barking out the orders down from the other end of the court. Good to see my good buddy Michael Shipp on the book today. He's got that worried, serious look on his face about his Georgia Bulldogs, but we'll talk about that a little bit later. Here's a shot inside by number 4. Shot clock is, I guess they ruled that they got that shot off before the shot clock, and then it had to be reset. So the ball goes out of bounds off of Cleveland State, and it'll be Wallace State basketball. But first, we have a timeout on the floor. We'll take one with them. We'll be right back after this timeout. You're listening to Cleveland State Cougar Basketball right here on the Cougar Sports YouTube Network. Brian Grissom live and in color from the Q, El Quinton Lane Gymnasium, on a rainy, cold Saturday afternoon in Cleveland, Tennessee, on the campus of Cleveland State Community College. Thank you so much for joining the broadcast this afternoon. Our very first broadcast of 2023. Hard to believe it's already 2023, but that's the facts. Wallace State with the basketball. Here's a pass inside. Number 21, Curry, tried to slam it, but he needed a little more lift. He got it off the front of the rim. So the Cougars get a break right there. His buddies will give him a hard time about that one. He just didn't get up for the slam that time. Here's a terrible pass by Wallace State as the Cougars took a shot, and Wallace State was on the run, but a little too fast as they throw it away. So turnover, Lions. Looks like a wholesale changes. Number 5, McIntosh back in. 35 did not check in correctly, so the check-in police get a hold of him, and he gets it all straightened out now. That is Randez Eason. I'm going to call him sir because he is a large gentleman. Christopher Blunt also back in for Wallace State. Jared Taylor in for Cleveland State. Takes it to the hole, leaves it short. Rebound, Wallace State, as number 3, Christopher Blunt, gives it up to Phillips. Mark Greer back in for Cleveland State, along with Landon Jacobs, Tony Sapp, and Damon Fan. Here goes Hughes down the lane, picks up his dribble, and promptly throws it away. Turnover lines. Number 10 and number 11, Jabari Smith and Jaleel Robinson will check in, along with, 15 and 3, Blunt and Hughes will check out for the lines. Looks like Michael Johnson will take a break for the Cougars, as number 12, that would be Charles Freeman, I suppose. They have him as number 11. Shot is no good by the Cougars, as I'm trying to straighten out my lineup here. We'll get that straightened out here in just a minute. So Charles Freeman is number 12. Here's a reverse layup by Michael McIntosh. That was nice. 17-8. 8:17 to go, first half. Cougars trail with the basketball. Fan gives it up to Freeman. Freeman to Taylor. Taylor tries to go baseline, couldn't get there. Back out front to Freeman, throws up a wild shot, no good. Rebound goes to McIntosh. He gives it ahead to Smith, misses the layup. Rebound fought for. Cougars come out of the pack with the basketball. Cleveland State on the run, down to Jared Taylor, has it knocked away, picks up the loose ball. Mark Greer was open, gives it back out front, Freeman. Shot is no good, and we got a foul called. And that is on. Randez Eason picks up his first foul, trying to block out. Landon Jacobs will check in, as Charles Freeman will take a break. So Charles Freeman is number 12. Cougars will throw it in underneath their own bucket. Out front to Taylor. Over to Jacobs to Greer. Back to Taylor. 2-3 zone for Wallace State. Gets it inside, but thrown away. Michael Johnson. Bad entry pass that time. Cougar turnover. Cougars have got almost as many turnovers as they do points here in the first half. That'll have to change drastically. Wallace State with their biggest lead of the night. 17-8. 7:20 to go, first half. McIntosh gives it up to Smith, inside to the big man, Eason. He has it swatted away, but he is fouled. So Mark Greer will pick up his first foul, and Eason will go to the free throw line. First free throw, zip. Randez Eason. K1 Banks checks back in for the Cougars, as Landon Jacobs will take a break. Second free throw, off the back rim, no good. Rebound Cougars. Michael Johnson with the board, gives it up to Greer. Greer will slow it down just a little bit, set up a play. Gives it up to Banks. Banks drives the lane, steps on a foot, falls down, loses the ball, and they call a kicking violation. So apparently it hit somebody in the foot. Banks will throw it in right in front of our broadcast position. The Wallace State coach wants a little explanation on that, and I don't blame him. It was just a loose ball in my eyes. Here's a pass inside to Fan. He misses the shot, but he's fouled. So that'll be Nathaniel Jones. Picks up his first foul and 5 different, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Yeah, 5 different lines with 1 foul each and 8 different Cougars with 1 foul each. So no foul trouble for any. that might be a technical foul on you over there. I have. I've been talking about you half the first half. And my good buddy Michael over there on the book giving me a hard time, me trying to concentrate and be serious down here. Second free throw is good. So, Fan knocks them both down. 18 to 10, excuse me. Ooh, there's a shot and some harm. Count the bucket, and Mark Greer with the foul. So that's the first Cougar with 2 fouls. So count the bucket for Jaleel Robinson, and he'll go to the free throw line. Try to make it a 3-point play. It is good for Jaleel Robinson. His first 3 points of the game. And just like that, it's a 21-10 ball game. Cougars having a hard time finding the bottom of the net so far. 21-10, Cougars with the basketball. They trail by 11. Under 6.5 minutes to play, first half. Fan with the basketball. Over to Ellis. Nicholas Ellis back in the game. Gives it up to Banks. Ellis inside, tried to get it inside. And that's a kick ball or a foul? Foul called on number 21, I guess. No foul? I thought he said there was a foul. Oh, he said number 21 kicked the ball. That's what that was. Okay. Here goes Banks to the baseline. He is tied up, jump ball, and the alternate possession will go to Wallace State. He signaled a foul, but he said number 21 kicked the ball is what it was a minute ago. So no foul was called on that play. Trying to throw me off, but we're too sharp for him here. Here goes Robinson inside. Pass no good. Turnover. Almost a turnover as the foot was on the line. Good defense by the Cougars that time. 21-10 your score. 5:53 to go first half. Robinson will throw it in to McIntosh. Inside. Nice pass to Curry. Curry puts it up. No good. Michael Johnson on the defense. And a foul is called on Jaleel Robinson. That'll be his second foul. Cougars will take it out underneath their own bucket. Phillip Hughes checks in as Robinson will take a break with his 2 fouls. Ellis will bring it up the court. Gives it up to Taylor. Taylor to Banks. Banks to Fan. Back out front to Taylor. Yes. Cougars working around this 2-3 zone. Fan thought about a 3, changed his mind. Banks back to Fan. Fan drives baseline. Off balance shot is good. That's what the Cougars have got to have. Some made baskets. 21-12 as Damon Fan puts one in. Cougars with some full court pressure. Now they'll back it off a little bit. Just want to let Wallace State know they're there. Hughes up front, gives it up to Curry. Curry to McIntosh. Over to Jones, inside to Curry. Curry gonna try it again. Nope. Dishes it back out to Hughes. He's in trouble. Gives up to number 1 is Jones with an air ball from 3-point land. Cougars on the run. Jared Taylor takes it to the hole. He's all bottled up. Boy, he's in a mess. He throws it away. Turnover Cougars. Jared got himself in a mess that time. Driving into the tall trees. Turnover Cougars. Out front is McIntosh with the basketball. Gives it up to Curry. Curry to Hughes. Hughes guarded closely. Hughes pulls up for a 3-pointer. No good. Rebound, Michael Johnson. What was that? That was a foul off the ball there. Away from the play. So Michael Hughes, a flopping call. Yes, sir. How about that? So that is the dreaded Class B technical. That goes a technical foul, but not a personal foul. I had not heard that one. You learn something every day. The free throw by Damon Fan is good. Well, anyway, the Cougars get a point out of it. That's the bottom line. It is a Class B technical. My. So we'll mark that one down. Class B technical, and it's not a personal foul. Now, I don't see how that could be. So anyway, that's what you get when you flop. You flop trying to draw a foul, and they'll get you with a Class B technical. Cougar basketball after the free throw. Here's K1 Banks, long two-pointer, can't get it to fall. Hughes with the rebound, and Wallace State on the run. And Williams to Hughes to Williams again. There's a steal, Jared Taylor. He's going to take it to the hole, put it up, misses the shot. His own man knocked him out of the way. Oh, that's a tough break for the Cougars. Here's a pass over to the far baseline. Number 4 is Williams, back out front to Hughes, and he'll regain order and set up the play. Fast and furious in the last few minutes for both teams. Here's a long three-pointer by Smith. Oh, my goodness, from way downtown. And that is Jabari Smith, my goodness, from way behind the three-point line. 24-13. Cougars trail by 11. Jared Taylor's going to throw up a three-pointer, no good. Rebound goes to Blunt. He gives it off to Williams, who slams it home. To Darius Williams with the slam-bam dunk. Turnover Cougars once again. Here's a pass inside to Blunt. Can't get it to go, but the foul is called, I believe, on on Ellis. Nicholas Ellis picks up his second foul. So the Cougars just not able to get anything going so far. Here we're at 2:34 in the first half. Cougars trail by 13, and 2 free throws to come for Christopher Blunt. 2 new Cougars ready to check in. First free throw, zip. First point of the afternoon for Blunt. He'll get another. So Marcus Greer and Chapman back in for Cleveland State. Here comes Michael Johnson back in. Second free throw, rims out, no good.
Michael Johnson returns for the Cougars.
Ball is batted out of bounds. It'll be Cleveland State basketball. 27-13. Cougars trail, the biggest lead of the night, as a matter of fact, for the Lions. Greer bringing it across the timeline. And we got a clock problem. So we're going to see what we can do about the clock problem, which is working on one end and not on the other end. That's got to be a Class B or C1 technical foul. Rim violation, we're going to call that. So we got a stoppage in play right here. They're going to have, somebody's going to have to push the button. Somebody got to climb a tree and push the button. Yep, that's what's going to happen. So, we got the man going underneath the table. We got all kinds of work going on here. We got a timeout on the floor. I'll take one with them. We'll be right back. All right, we're ready to go here as they work on the clock on the other end. We're just going to play on without it. Cougar basketball, 27-13, Wallace State on top. Oh, Michael Johnson with the slam. Oh, it doesn't count. He shuffled his feet. No. Oh, my. Illegal screen, maybe? Well, we just had all kinds of calls. Player control foul on Trace Chapman, and I guess he cleared the lane there. Kind of a pulling guard block. 27-13 as we head toward the 2-minute mark here in the first half. Cougars having a really hard time finding the bottom of the net here in the first half. Got to give Wallace State some credit for that. As they play, they're super quick, and there's a moving screen the other direction. Illegal screen on Michael McIntosh, and he just still doesn't figure out what he did wrong right there. So, turnover, Lions. Out front is Greer, over to Chapman. Here's a shot by Banks, no good. Rebound fought for. Lions come out of the pack with the basketball. A minute and a half to go, first half. 27-13, Lions over Cougars. Hughes out front with the basketball, gives it up to Smith, to Williams, to Robinson, back to Hughes. 4 seconds, that should have been a traveling. It is, that's a good call. Turnover, Wallace State. And our PA announcer, Gary's going to have to count it down when he gets to 10 seconds there on this end of the court. Now, we'll have to work on that at halftime. I'm sure somebody will crawl up there and punch the button at halftime. All right, we go toward the 1 minute mark. 27-13 still. Greer, pump fake, shot no good. Rebound goes to Jabari Smith. Lions on the run. Williams, Euro step, left-handed shot, no good. And the clock it's a miracle. It's working again. Here we go. Damon Fan three-pointer, no good. Rebound goes to the Lions. 41 seconds to go in the half. 23 on the shot clock, so they'll have to get a shot off. There's no hurry for that. Hughes out front with the basketball. Here comes McIntosh to set a screen. Back to Hughes. Over to number 3, Blunt. Blunt drives the lane and throws it away. Did it go off of a Cougar? I believe it went off of a Cougar leg on the way out of bounds. So 6 seconds on the shot clock, 19.2 in the ball game. As Caleb Muncie must have got the right button pushed over there. We've got shot clocks on both ends, and they're the same. That's pretty impressive. Inbounds to Williams. That was Smith for the three-pointer, no good. 12 seconds to go in the half. So we've got 6 seconds on the shot clock. 5. Greer with the basketball. Takes it to the hole. Scoop shot. No good. And the shot is no good. Could have got Michael for hanging on the rim, but they let the clock run out. No foul is called, and that is where we will be. 27-13. Wallace State on top of Cleveland State at halftime. We are going to take a 2-minute break, and we'll find somebody to talk to here, and we'll be back in 2 minutes. Testing. We are at halftime. Halftime. Cougars trail 27-13, just one game today. I'm joined here at halftime my good buddy Michael Ship. Michael, how was your holiday, buddy?
Oh, it was pretty good and everything. It was a lot of people came over and got a few presents and all. How about yours?
I tell you,
family.
I tell you what, buddy, I've had just about all the screaming grandkids I can stand for a while. I love every one of them, but I wave by and get back to normal.
Well, maybe they won't come back home now. It'll be fine on you there.
Absolutely. Let's talk a little football, buddy.
Right.
I think there's a big game Monday night. I can't remember who's playing. Do you remember?
How about them dogs? They're playing.
They're
Going for number 1 2 years in a row. Got to play Texas Christian. Don't know a whole lot about them, but I understand they only have one loss. Georgia's favored by about 13, I believe, last I heard. Georgia's only failed to make the point spread only once this year, and that was against Missouri. So, but it might be a better game than that. But
I tell you one thing that sometimes comes into play when there's a big a spread like that is overconfidence. What do the dogs have to do to keep being overconfident?
they have Kirby Smart, that's why.
That's right.
And he don't let people get overconfident. He said you can be beat, and so that's what it is like that. He coaches the whole game, and he goes to offense, defense, and coaches everybody. That's what's so good about it.
Now, I don't want you to tell everybody this, but I'm going to be pulling for the dogs Monday night, so I don't want you to mention that to most people.
I don't think I have to. I believe you just did. And that's kind of scary, too.
Yeah, I know. I don't want to jinx them or anything, but, I got to pull for the SEC.
Well, I think Tennessee would have been in if they hadn't screwed up against South Carolina.
Still the mystery of the season,
Yeah,
I'll tell
really.
you. Tennessee would have been right there, that's for sure.
And they wanted 2 Big Ten teams in there.
Yeah, they did.
And Georgia's over the years has never lost to a Big Ten team except Penn State. They were independent then, so
yeah, right.
we've never lost to a Big Ten team. That goes back to '63.
Now TCU's got the offense to play with anybody, but whether or not they'll be able to stop Georgia, and I believe Georgia will slow them down enough to win the ball game. That's just my opinion.
Yeah, I think so too. We'll get in the groove and all like that. We got a lot of players that banged up. Got a long enough break in there between, so they'll get rested up and everything for the
Absolutely.
game.
Well, buddy, I tell you, we're about to start playing basketball here in St. Anne. It sure is good to see you back behind the table over here.
I'm sure glad to be back. I've got a few medical problems, but we're trying to get them straightened out and everything, so I can be back here every game. Might even have to get you to come get me something.
Well, you just never know. I'll just hit you to the back of my truck, and we'll just come right on over. That was my good buddy, Michael Ship. We like to do a little chit-chat here at halftime. We're just thrilled to death to have him back over here keeping the book for us here at Scorers Row. We're about a minute away from the start of the second half. Let me very quickly go over some some halftime stats here. Let's see. Wallace State shot 33% in the first half. Oh, my goodness. That's what I was afraid of. Cleveland State shot an amazing 11% in the first half. 3 of 26. You're not going to win a whole lot shooting 3 of 26. 2 for 9 from the three-point line. Let me look at turnovers here. The Cougars scored 13 points and had 12 turnovers. That'll get you beat almost every day. Let's see, 9 turnovers for Wallace State. Point totals, there's just nothing to talk about with Cleveland State. Jabari Smith had 11 points in the first half. Tadarius Williams had 5 points for the Lions. And Michael McIntosh had 4. Damon Finn had 5 points for the Cougars. As, let's see, Tony Sapp hit a 3 and Caleb Chapman hit a 3. And that's all I'm going to talk about the first half stats, because if you're a Cougar fan, it's depressing. So we'll just not talk about that anymore. We're going to be positive on this broadcast. 27-13. Cougars with the basketball. They trail by 14, 2 touchdowns. As we stay on the basketball theme there with my good buddy Mike. Here's a shot inside. Michael Johnson. Tip no good. Ball goes out of bounds off of the Cougars. much to their dismay, as they thought it went off of Wallace State. But the Cougars showing a little life there. They were hustling on the boards that time, just could not get it to fall. That's been the story of the ball game. This is the only game. Here's a steal. Jared Taylor puts it up and in. Now there's a spark. Let's see if the Cougars can build on that. 27-15. Just as I said, just one game this afternoon. Lady Cougars and the Lady Lions have already played earlier in the year. Here's a shot, no good. Rebound, K1 Banks. Cougars on the run. Here's a shot on the baseline. Taylor puts it up and in. Jared Taylor with the spark here early in the second half. And very quickly a timeout called by Coach Alan Sharp of the Lions. 30-second timeout. We'll just keep it right here. Let's look at our schedule coming up. This coming Wednesday, the Cougars will hit the road up to Harriman, Tennessee, to Roan State for a couple of key region basketball games, men's and women's. And then next Saturday, we'll be right back here at the friendly confines of the Q, El Quentin Lane Gymnasium, when Dyersburg State rolls into Cleveland for a couple of games starting at 2 o'clock next Saturday. That'll be our next broadcast. And then on Wednesday, the next Wednesday, the 18th, next Saturday, the 14th, Wednesday, the 18th, Motlow State will come to town for a couple of big region games. So a couple of big home region games coming up for the Cougars and Lady Cougars. As we're ready to go here, 19-13 to go second half, 27-17, Cougars trail by 10. They trail by 14 at halftime and have had 2 quick buckets to start the second half. Here's a steal. Oh, tough break as Caleb Chapman tipped it away and almost kept it in bounds but couldn't. Great hustle. So, mass substitutions for Wallace State as Coach Sharp does not like what he sees to start the second half. Wallace State with the basketball and a 10-point lead. Number 11 is Jaleel Robinson. Gives it up to Smith. Smith back to Williams. Smith drives baseline, blocked. Michael Johnson, beautiful block. Cougars on the run. Ball inside. Jared Taylor back out front to Mark Greer. Chapman over to Taylor. Taylor to Chapman to Banks. Inside to Michael Johnson. And a foul is called on, I believe that's Jalen Curry. Yep, he's going to pick up his second foul. Nobody really in foul trouble. Jalen Curry and Jaleel Robinson have 2 fouls for the Lions. Trey Chapman, Greer, and Nicholas Ellis all have 2 fouls for the Cougars as we start the second half. Mark Greer taps his head. He's going to set up the play for the Cougars. That could have been another foul on Curry out front. Greer, pull-up jumper, short, air ball, and saved by Johnson, but he was out of bounds. Had his foot on the line. So it'll be Lions basketball as Robinson brings it up the court. Christopher Blunt is checked back in for the Lions. Wallace State out of the heart of Alabama coming to town for a ball game this afternoon. Smith out front, picks up his dribble, gives it up to Christopher Blunt. Blunt drives the lane, pull-up jumper, way too strong. But number 4, Tredarius Williams, pulls in the rebound. That's a traveling violation. He shuffled his feet, so turnover Lions. Tony Sapp will check in. Michael Johnson will take a break. As Coach Raphael Howard is running his guys in and out, keeping them fresh. 17:33 to go in the ball game. Oh, my goodness. Turnover, Cougars. That's ones you just can't stand right there. Is just the careless turnovers. Ellis back in the game for the Cougars, along with Taylor, Chapman, Sapp, and Banks. On the Cleveland State side, here goes Robinson down the hole. Tip is up. I believe that's basket interference right there. It is. Jalen Curry was going to tap it back in, but he got it too quick as the ball was still on the rim. So no bucket for the Lions. As we head toward the 17-minute mark here in the ball game. Pass inside to Caleb Chapman. Chapman gives it up to Ellis. Back to Chapman. Chapman got a smaller man on him, but can't get around him. Here goes Taylor to the hole. Has it knocked away. Robinson on the drive, and the shot is no good, but tipped up and in by Tadarius Williams. That fast break of the Lions is lethal if they get going, and they want to run at all times. Here goes Chapman in the hole. He is whacked. That is Tony Sapp, by the way. Tony Sapp goes up, and he gets whacked by about 3 different lines that time. And they give the foul to Christopher Blunt. That is his second.
The Cougars, Tony Sapp, shooting 2.
Sapp to the free throw line. He has 2 points in the game. Make it 3 as he hits the first one. Michael McIntosh will check back in as Jalen Curry will take a break for the Lions. Folks will have to excuse my voice this afternoon. I'm doing the best I can. Second free throw is good by Tony Sapp. He's got 4 points in the game. And it's a 29-19 Lion advantage with the basketball. Wallace State on top of Cleveland State. The Lions have led from the very beginning. The game was tied at 3-3, and then the Lions have led ever since. Out front is Jabari Smith looking for a 3, gets it inside to McIntosh. Shot is no good. Cougars with the basketball. They're on the run. Kawan Banks to the hole, puts it up. Oh, it comes off. I can't believe that ball didn't go in. Rolled all the way around the rim and come off. Rebound goes to McIntosh. Coach Howard wanting a foul. Here goes Robinson down the lane. Little teardrop, no good. Rebound, Ellis has it taken away by Robinson. The shot is blocked by Chapman. Cougars on the run. Here's a shot inside. And foul is called. Foul is called on number 5, Michael McIntosh. They were going to call the charge, but he was in the restricted zone inside that other line in there. So that's a good call by the Zebras. Okay. So that will send K1 Banks to the free throw line. And they counted the bucket. That's what we were wondering about. Free throw is no good. So 3-point opportunity goes by the boards, and it's 29-21, the closest the Cougars have been in a while. Here's an air ball by the Lions. Rebound goes to the Lions, though, as they have really hit the offensive boards. Here's a shot. Robinson blocked from behind by Sapp, and the foul is called on the Cougars.
Technical foul on the Cougars. Number 1, Tony Sapp. His first team foul.
So, technical foul is called on the Cougars. First free throw is good. Second technical free throw is good. So that hurt. So a technical foul on the Cougars costs them 2 points. They get it inside to Williams. Williams out to Smith. Over to Robinson. Back to Smith. As we got 9 on the shot clock. Over to Williams. He takes a 20-footer. No good. Rebound Cougars as they throw it away, but then Fan picks it up. Pass into Kawan Banks, and the shot is no good, but he is fouled. So that is the second foul on Christopher Blunt. K1 Banks to the free throw line. First one rolls around and comes out. Cougars have got to take advantage of their opportunities. Randez Eason comes in. As Tadarius Williams will take a break for Wallace State. Second free throw is good. 31-22, 14:55 to go in the ball game. It's been all Wallace State, but the Cougars are still within striking distance as they trail by 9. Had cut it to 7 just a second ago, but the technical really hurt. Here's a turnover. Good job, Tony Sapp knocking it away. Sapp to the hole, puts it up and in. So, Cougars still fighting, 31-24, back to a 7-point game. Tony Sapp, let's see, 3, 5, 7 points for Tony now. Over to McIntosh. He gives it up to Blunt. Blunt to Williams, to Smith, back to Robinson. Robinson tries to go baseline. Ellis won't let him. 2 on the shot clock. Got to throw one up. Air ball. Shot clock violation. Great defense, Cougars. Michael Johnson will check back in. Tony Sapp will take a break. So it'll be Cougar basketball with a chance to cut a little deeper into this lead. It's anybody's ball game with 14 minutes to go in the contest. Fan over to Chapman. Trey Chapman is checked in. Over to Caleb Chapman. Chapman on the baseline. 2-pointer, no good, but he is fouled by number 5. Michael McIntosh. This particular referee has a black glove on, and I have a terrible time seeing the numbers. So he's got a Michael Jackson look going on over there. He's a Michael Jackson fan, I do believe. Got that one glove on. Maybe he's trying to start the fad all over. First free throw is good. Second free throw, also good. So, Caleb Chapman with a pair of free throws, and it's a 31-26 game. Cougars trail by 5. Closest they've been in a long time. Robinson on the run. And he is fouled by Nicholas Ellis. So that's 3 on Ellis. And Mark Greer will check back in for the Cougars. Wallace State basketball underneath their own bucket. Gets it inside to Williams. Williams to Smith out front. Trying to work it inside. 10 on the shot clock. Number 3 Blunt to the hole. He pulls up. Can't get a shot off. 3-second violation on Christopher Blunt. Great defense once again for the Cougars. Landon Jacobs will check back in as Caleb Chapman will take a break. Cougars have got it done on the defensive end here in the second half, and they are within 5 points of the lead with the basketball. Greer gives it up to Jacobs. Jacobs to Chapman. Chapman back out front to Jacobs. Jacobs drives the lane. Scoop shot is good. Landon Jacobs with a beautiful shot to the hole, and it is a 3-point ball game, 31-28. Wallace State with a 3-point lead in the basketball. Cougars have picked up the defensive intensity, and it has shown on the scoreboard. Here's another ball knocked away. Wallace State trying to drive baseline, can't get there, falls down. That's got to be traveling. Cougars wrestle for the ball, and they get it. Timeout Cougars as they force another turnover as Mark Greer hits the floor. And the Cougars have taken control on the defensive end. It's a beautiful thing. Timeout on the floor. We'll take one with them. We'll be right back. Had to check a couple of scores there during the timeout. My beloved Vols are winning big time over in South Carolina, 80-40. But right back here at the Q at Cleveland State, 31-28, Wallace State over Cleveland State. Cougars are the closest they've been since in the halfway through the first half. 31-28, Wallace State on top. Cougars with the basketball. A shot from downtown would tie this game up. Mark Greer brings it across, sets up the play, gives it to Jacobs, out front to Fan, back to Jacobs. Fake Jacobs drives the lane, gives it open the corner. What we got? We got a foul inside. I believe it's on Wallace State. Randez Eason with a block. So that's a break for the Cougars. Not a shooting foul. It was off the ball. So Cleveland State will have it underneath their own basket. Greer to throw it in. Gives it up to Jacobs. To Damon Fan out front. Back to Greer. Greer will set up the play. Fan gives it up to Trey Chapman. Over in the corner, three-pointer. No good by Greer. And a foul, loose ball foul on the Cougars. Damon Fan with his second foul. Hughes will check back in for the Lions as Jaleel Robinson will take a break. So the Cougars had a shot to tie it up right there as we go under 12 minutes to play in the ball game. Battle in the corner for the basketball, and it will remain Wallace State. Jared Taylor will check in as Trey Chapman will take a break. So a little delay of game action there. Now we're setting the shot clock. The clock police are on the job today. Now we're ready to go. Cougars give a little full court pressure. Now they'll back it off just a little bit. Hughes will bring it across the timeline. And the ball is taken away, but it rolls out of bounds by Mark Greer. Cougars have been all over the lines on the defensive end here in the second half. And that is why they are where they are, trailing by only 3 points. And I say only because they trailed by as many as 14 not long ago. There's a moving foul. Moving screen by Randez Eason, and he is not a happy camper. He thought he was set that time. As that was a good call, though, because he put a roadblock on the Cougars. So Cleveland State with the basketball as we approach 11 and a half minutes to play in the game. Cougars with a chance to tie it up or cut it to one. Here's a pass inside. Couldn't get it to go. Michael Johnson had the shot. Couldn't get it to drop. Rebound to the Lions as they'll set up shop on the other end. Williams to Eason. Back to Blunt. Blunt can't go baseline. Comes back out front. Gives it up to McIntosh. Over to Hughes. 8 seconds. Oh, there's a nice pass inside to McIntosh, and he puts it up and in. That was a nice play that time. 33-28, back to a 5-point spread. Nicholas Ellis checks back in along with Jared Taylor, Landon Jacobs, Michael Johnson, and Kewan Banks. I don't know what this break is. Oh, got a tie shoe out there. I'm happy to report that the shoelace is tied and we are ready to play ball. Cougars trail by 5 with the basketball. Nicholas Ellis sets up the play. Gives it up to Jacobs. Jacobs goes baseline, puts it up too hard, and Johnson is over the back. Michael Johnson called for the foul over the back. That's a good call. Much to the dismay of Coach Raphael Howard, but that was a good call. Michael just hustling. Can't blame him for hustling. Turnover Cougars. Here's a pass inbounds as the Cougars apply a lot of defensive pressure in the backcourt this time. Hughes will take it across. He's going to drive baseline, and they cut him off. Ellis cut him off. Back out front to McIntosh. Over to Blunt. Blunt trying to get around Jared Taylor. Can't do it. And there's a turnover by the Lions. They were trying to get it inside to McIntosh, but couldn't get the pass there. As Coach Alan Sharp having a little conversation with one of the Zebras. Nuts, you don't mess with this Mr. Zebra over here. He'll get you in a heartbeat. I've seen it many times. Jared Taylor from downtown. Zip! Jared Taylor knocks down a three-pointer for the Cougars, and it is 33-31. Cougars trail by 2. Wallace State with the basketball. Out front is Eason. Gives it up to Williams. Over to Smith. Back to McIntosh. Cougars playing great defense, making the Lions work for every shot. Here's a shot, no good by Hughes. Oh, offensive rebound by McIntosh, and he's going to be fouled. I imagine that's Michael. Nope, Tony Sapp. So that's 3 on Tony Sapp. So Ellis, Sapp, the only 2 Cougars with 3 fouls. And looks like McIntosh and Eason with 3 fouls apiece for the Lions. Free throw is no good for Michael McIntosh. 2-point ball game, 33-31, 9.5 minutes to go in the contest. Tony Sapp will check in. Caleb Chapman will take a break for Coach Raphael Howard and his Cougars. Second free throw, zip for McIntosh. He hits 1 out of 2. So it is 34-31 at the 9:33 mark in the contest. Cougars with the basketball. Got a chance to tie it up right here. Taylor out front to Sapp. Over to the right wing is Kewan Banks. Goes baseline. Too hard. Rebound, McIntosh. Cougars had a shot that time. Couldn't get it to fall. Hughes inside. Oh, my goodness. The give and go to McIntosh works to perfection, and it's a 36-31 ball game. Shot clock problem. 26, says Mr. Official. We've had clock difficulties a couple of times this afternoon. 9:01 to go in the ball game. Out front to Ellis. Cougars with the basketball. They trail by 5. 36-31. Pass over in the corner. Landon Jacobs comes inside the three-point line. Rebound K1. He's knocked to the floor. And the ball trickles out of bounds. It'll be Wallace State basketball. Tough break for the Cougars that time, as K1 went crashing to the floor to no avail. He had the rebound, but couldn't hang on to it. Inbounds to Phillips. That's Phillip Hughes, excuse me. Gets it over to Jabari Smith. Out front to McIntosh. Jalen Curry. Back to Smith. Three-pointer. He missed one. He misses one. Cougars on the run. Jared Taylor backs it back out. He had a 1-on-3. Couldn't beat those numbers. Here goes Landon Jacobs down the baseline. Puts it up. And golly, couldn't get it to go. That ball hit. It did go. Okay, I thought it did, but then I thought Mr. Referee said 2 shots. So the bucket did count. And Landon Jacobs will go to the free throw line to try to make it a 3-point play. Big free throws from here on out. Zip. Landon Jacobs on the 3-point play, and it's a 36-34 game. Wallace State clinging to a 2-point lead. They've led the entire ball game. Had a 14-point lead at halftime, and the Cougars have whittled it down to 2, 36-34. Lions with the basketball and a slim 2-point lead. Out front is Robinson, gives it up to Jones. Jones back in the game here. That's got to be 3 seconds. Nope, no call. Here's Nathaniel Jones from downtown, his first points of the game. Oh my goodness, that was a big shot for Wallace State. 39-34, back to a 5-point spread. Banks out front. Bad pass. Turnover Cougars. Damon Fan will check in, and Landon Jacobs will take a break for the Cougars. Wallace State with the basketball as we go towards 7.5 minutes to play in the ball game. 39-34. Wallace State on top. Here goes Williams down the baseline. Couldn't get there. He's trapped. 10 on the shot clock. Good defense by the Cougars. Here's a 3-pointer. Oh, my goodness. Jaleel Robinson knocks down a 3-pointer. That's 2 in a row. 42-34. 2 crucial 3-pointers for Wallace State. And it's back to an 8-point game, 42-34. Just like that. 2 3-pointers, and it's back to an 8-point lead. Cougars with the ball. Fan tries to go baseline, gives it up to Sapp. Sapp missed the wraparound shot. Here's a 3-pointer. Fan, no good. Rebound, fought for, and the Lions come out of there with it. Number 11, Jaleel Robinson, down the lane. Gets himself in trouble, throws it back out front. Jones, 3-pointer, no good. Follow up by Curry. Jalen Curry, 44-34, back to a 10-point lead. And Coach Howard wants to talk things over. So the Cougars got so close to tying this thing up, but a couple of 3-pointers and an offensive rebound, back to a 10-point lead for Wallace State. 6:22 to go in the ball game, 44-34. Wallace State over Cleveland State. We'll take a timeout with them. We'll be right back. That's right, absolutely. Back here at the Q, Elquint Lane Gymnasium, Brian Grissom live and in color. 6:22 to go in the ball game. Cougars have shown signs of life here in the second half. They cut it to 2 from a 14-point spread, and now it's back up to 10. Cleveland State with the basketball. Going to try to cut into it one more time. Mark Greer over to Banks. Banks drives the line, got a foul, no call. Fan gives it up to Taylor. Taylor drives the lane, puts a shot up, can't get the roll, and they call him for the charge. Great hustle that time by Jared Taylor. That's his second foul. So can't fuss at him a whole lot. You never fuss at hustle. So Nicholas Ellis will check in. Greer will take a break for the Cougars. Lions get it in. They had the pass, but it would have been dangerous. So they'll take their time getting it up as we go under 6 minutes to play in the game. Ball knocked out of bounds. And off the hand of Wallace State. So turnover, Lions. Cougars with the basketball. Got to get a few to fall right here. A couple of threes would be nice. Ellis out front, gives it up to Banks. Banks drives the lane, gives it up in the corner. Damon Fan for three, no good. Rebound goes to the Cougars. And they'll set it up again. Taylor out front, gives it up to Banks. Banks drives the lane. Got fouled, but they're just going to give it to him out of bounds. They just missed the foul that time as he got whacked on the arm. That happens. Ellis to throw it in, gives it into Banks. Banks turns around, puts it up and in. Nice turnaround jumper by K1 Banks. And the Cougars knock it back to single digits. 44-36. We got a shot clock problem. I don't know why they stopped at that time. Shot clock problem, that's what I thought. All right. Lions basketball. They get in, Cougars with some full court pressure. Now they'll back it off just a little bit. We're under 5 minutes to play in the ball game. Just one game today. The men's contest, the ladies have already played Wallace State, so they just didn't play on the same day. One of those odd things that happen every once in a while in college basketball. Here's a turnover. Steal by Jared Taylor. Gives it off to Fan. It is blocked. Oh, my goodness. That's a beautiful block by Tadarius Williams. And we got a foul called off the ball. Uh-oh. There's a technical foul called on number 10, Jabari Smith. So, he said the magic word, and you can't say the magic word on the court. So that'll be a technical foul shot. Damon Fan will miss it. Missed the first one. He'll get another. Tough break. Cougars need every point from here on out. Second free throw, zip. So 1 out of 2 for Damon. And it's a 44-37 ball game. 4:36 to go in the contest. Lions basketball. Full court pressure by the Cougars. Number 3, Christopher Blunt will bring it across the timeline. Gives it up to Jones, Nathaniel Jones. Over to Robinson. Robinson back to Jones. Jones. Oh, got away with a travel. Well, they call him for a jump ball. As the Cougars tied up, alternate possession goes to Wallace State. They get it into Curry. Curry. Johnson all over him. Gets it back out front to Jones. Jones. Shot. No good. Rebound. Ripped out of there by Michael Johnson. He had 2 lines right on him. Here's a pass inside to Taylor, who puts it up and in. Beautiful a pass inside to Jared Taylor. 44-39. Cougars cut into it once again. Out front is Robinson with the basketball. Almost had it taken away. Gives it up to Blunt. Blunt drives the lane, misses a shot, but he is fouled. Is that on Damon? Nope, Michael Johnson. So Johnson will pick up his third foul. Fouls have not actually been a problem for either team here in the ball game. Looks like 3 fouls for Johnson, Tony Sapp, and Ellis for the Cougars. McIntosh and Eason, the only Lions with as many as 3 fouls. First free throw by Christopher Blunt is good. Landon Jacobs will check back in. Michael Johnson will take a break. Second free throw from Blunt. He has 2 points on the night. Make it 3 as he swishes the free throw. So let's see. McIntosh will check back in. And Tadarius Williams will take a break for the Lions. 3.5 minutes to go in the ball game. It's almost crunch time. 46-39. Cougars trail with the basketball. Here's the drive inside. K1 Banks puts it up and in. That's 2, 4, 6, 7 points for K1. And it's back to a 5-point ball game, 46-41. Cougars hanging around. Here's a pass inside to Curry. He puts it up and in. That was a great job by Jalen Curry that time, as the Lions got it inside for the bucket. 48-41, Lions on top of Cougars. Banks goes down the lane one more time, throws it up. Oh, that's got to be goaltending. Curry slapped it, and it was way up there. No call, though. Christopher Blunt brings it across the line. So that, if it's not a goaltending, it's a great block by Curry. Out front is Robinson with the basketball. Lions in no hurry this time. Here's a shot by Robinson. Hail Mary is answered as he puts it up and in. And that'll put it back to a 9-point advantage, 50-41. Exactly 2 minutes and 30 seconds to go in the ball game. Timeout on the floor. We'll take one with them. We'll be right back. Had a good laugh here as they were seeing how many timeouts we had apiece. And I told them way too many. 50-41, Cougars trail by 9 with the basketball. Ellis gives it up to Landon Jacobs. Jacobs drives the lane, scoop shot, will not fall as it bounced on the rim 2 or 3 times. Foul called on number 11, Jaleel Robinson. So that will send Landon Jacobs to the free throw line, as Coach Alan Sharp is not a happy camper at this moment. I'm sure you could hear him fussing at one of his players right there. 2:17 to go in the ball game. First free throw is good by Landon Jacobs. He's got 6 points in the ball game. Second free throw, zip. So 7 points for Landon Jacobs. He hits both free throws. 7-point lead for the Lions. They have the basketball and a lead. 2:17 to go in the ball game. Number 4, Tadarius Williams, checks back in for the Lions, along with Jared Taylor for the Cougars. Banks, Ellis, Fan, and Michael Johnson for the Cougars on the floor. Lions going to take their time, run a little clock out front as we go under 2 minutes to play. Jaleel Robinson dribbling, Passes outside, three-pointer, in and out, no good. Rebound fought for. Oh, the offensive board. That could have been a goaltend, but they didn't call it. So number 3 is K1 Banks called for the foul. That's his second. The Lions have been able to get that offensive rebound at key points in the ball game tonight, and it served them well that time. On the free throw line is Tadarius Williams. He swishes the first one. He's got 8 points in the game. Make it 9 as he hits both free throws. And it's back to a 9-point lead for the Lions. 52-43. 1:49 to go in the ball game. Only game of the afternoon here at Cleveland State, as the ladies have already played at an earlier date. Banks throws up a wild shot, gets his own rebound, can't hit the shot. Rebound goes to Michael Johnson, and he puts it up and in. Good job on the offensive boards by the Cougars that time, and I believe that's Michael's. Surely that's not Michael's first points of the game. Let me see here. Yeah, that's it. That's his first points of the ball game. I couldn't believe it. 52-45, 45. Cougars on top. Timeout on the floor. We'll take one with them. We'll be right back. All right. Playing a little LaGrange on the intercom during the timeout. My favorite band, ZZ Top. 52-45. Rainy, cold Saturday afternoon, but it's nice inside here at the Q, Cleveland State Community College. Wallace State from the deep in the heart of Alabama come up for a basketball, and it's been a good one. The Cougars trailed by 14, and they've come all the way back, cut it to as little as 2 points. They trail by 7 at the moment. 52-45, Wallace State with the basketball and the lead. They're going to try to run on the clock as we go under 1:20 to go in the contest. 16 on the shot clock. Robinson drove the lane, brought it back out. Cougars chasing. Robinson to the hole, gives it up to Darius Williams for the layup. That's a bad break. 54-45, 1 minute to go in the game. Could have called a charge and didn't on K1 Banks. He puts it up and in. 54-47, Cougars. As Coach Howard calls another timeout, we'll take one with him. We'll be right back. (54-47), Cougars trail by 7. 1:01 to go in the ball game. Wallace State on top with the basketball. Cougars need to make something happen in a hurry if they're going to put this one in the win column. Oh, that's great defense by the Cougars as they knock it out of bounds. They say it went off of Wallace State, so turnover lines. Here's the break Cougars needed. Got to knock a shot down right here. 1 minute exactly to go in the ball game, as we have mass confusion on which lines we want in the game. All right, they've got it set now. Here we go. Cougars basketball gets it into Fan. Fan, oh, bad inbounds pass, but K1 picks it up. Spin move, gets the roll. K1 Banks with his 11th point of the game. 54-49, Cougars capitalize on the turnover. 53 seconds, ball batted out of bounds. Is it Cougar ball? No. This time it went off of a Cougar hand, as Cleveland State playing ferocious defense here in the last minute of the game. Much more energy and hustle for the Cougars here in the second half, as they've cut a 14-point lead in half. And they get it inbounds this time. And we'll have 2 shots to go. Who's that foul on? It's on Jared Taylor. So Christopher Blunt will go to the free throw line. 54-49. Lions with a 5-point lead. And it's still a 5-point lead as Blunt misses the free throw. We'll see if we can jinx him again. A 5-point lead for the Lions. And he hits the second one. So 55-49, 1 out of 2 for Christopher Blunt. He's got 4 points in the game. Cougars on the run. Ellis to Fan. Fan to Ellis. Ellis drives the lane. Dishes. Oh, no call to Michael Johnson, and he was rejected that time. Cougar Lions on the run, and a foul is called with 38 seconds to go in the game. Foul is called on Ellis. That is 4 on Nicholas. And Christopher Blunt will go back to the charity stripe. Misses the first one. So it remains a 6-point lead. Second free throw for Blunt. Zip. 1 out of 2. 56-49. Lions. Banks to Fan. Fan over to Taylor. Banks drives the lane. 3-pointer by Ellis. No good. Rebound fought for off of a Cougar hand and out of bounds. Hughes will check back in, and Williams will see. McIntosh will take a break. Timeout on the floor. We'll take a timeout with them. We'll be right back. You're listening to Cleveland State Cougar Basketball right here on the Cougar Sports YouTube Network. Brian Grissom, live and in color from the Q, El Quinton Lane Gymnasium on the campus of Cleveland State Community College. Ball inbounded from a tough point as Hughes has to throw it off of a Cougar leg to get another 5 seconds to throw it in. Cougars almost had the turnover right there. 24 seconds exactly to go in the game. 56-49. Lions by 7. And the ball knocked out of bounds again. Nope, foul call this time on Nick Ellis. I believe that's it. I believe that's all on Nicholas. I believe that's 5. So Nicholas will foul out
The line shooting
with 2 points tonight.
for the Lions.
That will send number 11, Jaleel Robinson, to the free throw line. He knocks the first one down. 22 seconds to go in the ball game. Second free throw by Jaleel Robinson. Rolls around and falls in. He's got 10 points in the game. 58-49. Cougars trail. Trying to get a shot off. Jared Taylor, air ball, no good. Rebound to the lines. And that will be the end of the night. Lions are going to take it 58-49 is your final score. Cougars fought valiantly, but they drop a 58-49 decision to the Wallace State Lions. The Cougars fall to 4-7 on the season. And the Lions improve their record to 8-4 on the season. We'll wait on some final statistics, and then we'll wrap this one up pretty quickly. A good ball game. Cougars trailed by 14 and cut it to 2. Had a chance to tie this thing up, but to no avail. The Lions held on. Played well. The Lions are a very good ball team. Coach Howard is not in a mood to talk, so we won't have an interview with him. We'll wait on our good buddy here with some final statistics, and we will wrap this thing up and call it a broadcast. Our next game will be on the road at Roan State on Wednesday. Our next broadcast will be right back here at the Q. Dyersburg State will roll into town, and then the following Wednesday, a week from today, we'll be back home for Dyersburg, and then the Wednesday after that, the 18th, Motlow State will come in for a pair of games. Let me very quickly go over some final stats for the ball game. Final score 58-49, Wallace State over Cleveland State. Let's see, field goal percentage. 27% for the game for the Cougars, and only 34 for Wallace State, but the 27%, that's way below par for Cleveland State. Some individual. Let's see. Let's look at turnovers. 18 turnovers, 22 for Wallace State. So the Cougars did much better in the second half on that. Rebounds, 40-32, Wallace State advantage. Offensive rebounds, that hurt. That was 9 for Wallace State. Let's do some individual scoring totals. Nathaniel Jones had 3 for Wallace State. Tadarius Williams 11. Jabari Smith with 15. Jalen Curry with 4. Christopher Blunt with 7. Michael McIntosh with 9. Jaleel Robinson with 8. And Randez Eason with a single point for the Wallace State Lions. For Cleveland State, Jared Taylor had 9 points. Nicholas Ellis 2. Caleb Chapman with 5. Michael Johnson 2 points. Damon Fan with 6. K1 Banks with 11. Landon Jacobs and Tony Satt with 7 points apiece for your Cougars. Cougars take it on the chin. They fall to 4-7 on the season. Wallace State goes to 8-4 on the season. Our next broadcast will be 1 week from today, January 14th, with Dyersburg State rolling into town for a key region matchup. Well, folks, that is the story for the day from Cleveland State. We thank you so much for joining in our broadcast. Until next Saturday, this is Brian Grissom saying good night and God bless everybody.